You know what I hate, America? Race baiting. Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kevin's Corner, where I try to make sense out of nonsense. Now, I had to say that real low because apparently the algorithms, they don't like when you use certain words like, so, I got to say it low. But the reason I'm even bringing it up at all is because I've been noticing something. As I turn on the TV or sometimes go on the internet, that seems to be the topic that everybody wants to talk about. Now, I have a theory. My theory is that there are two groups of people working together to use as a weapon to demonize another group of people. Now, what is my evidence? My evidence is from repeated behaviors. Because, see, I would think as a logical thinking person, a rational person, that for you to break this out, it shouldn't be saturated in our society. That is a word that should be reserved for serious situations. But when I start seeing a surplus of that word being thrown around, I have to question. I have to question if there is that much of that going around that we hear it that much now. To the naked eye and ear, to the casual viewer, maybe you might not pick up on it. But if you've been getting a healthy diet of certain politicians or certain networks, and yet over time you have developed an opinion about that word, and you start thinking that certain people are really serious, then you might want to ask yourself, how did I come to that conclusion? What was it that drove me to think this way? To start saying that there are large amounts of Americans that are, or the president is, all of the stuff that you've been getting a healthy diet from certain groups of people made you come to this conclusion. You have to ask yourself why. I mean, when did this become such a serious subject? And how does what's going on right now politically weigh into that? You ask yourself, man, if Trump wouldn't have got elected, would we be hearing about this every single day? Would we be hearing about this on the news 24 hours, all day long? Would we be hearing that every criticism, every, statement is tied to racism? Let's be honest, we've come a long way, y'all. We have come a long way. So now what they're trying to convince us is that this is a major issue in America. I see certain people in certain cities they're declaring a national or a state emergency because of racism. They're not giving you any reason why. They're not giving you any type of data to show evidence for coming to that conclusion. They don't care. They just throw it out there and assume you believe them. Now, all those folks that believe in got to ask themselves, well, wait, where are these races? Are they talking about me? I would like to think that I'm excluded from that, but because I might be Caucasian, I guess I'm in that category. I mean, should I just accept that? Or should I play it safe, accept it, therefore I don't have to feel like I'm including myself in these accusations? I'd rather be on the side of the non-racist than in the crew of the, because who wants to be called that? And the media and the Democrats know that. That is why they use it, see? And so I'm mad about it because I see that they're using it for political gain, not taking in consideration the long-term damage that it has on black folks, on white folks, on America. It's not helping us go in the right direction in regards to race relations. It's tearing us apart. And the simple-minded folks who are victim of this, they don't see it. They don't realize that these people are playing chess with real live human beings. They're saying strategically, let me use these topics that are sensitive topics to drive folk apart, to drive folks to vote for certain people. All of these things they're using it for. They don't care about the fallout. They don't care about the young black kid that's walking around for the rest of his life mad and think he's a victim and decide, you know what, I'm going to push this old white lady down because I'm mad for nothing. They don't care about that. They don't care about the neighborhoods that are being destroyed for nothing right now in black neighborhoods, in democratically ran neighborhoods. They don't care about that stuff. They all have a goal, and they're using this particular topic to accomplish that goal. And you know why I hate it? Because it's cheap. It's cheap and it's lazy. It allows them to use this instead of convincing you individually why their ideas and policies are better than the other person. Why do that? I mean, why take the time to come out and try to convince you how smart I am, how brilliant, how my ideal is so wonderful, when all I got to do is just say, you know what? Don't vote for that guy because he's racist. Well, what are you going to do for us? Hey, don't you ask me those type of questions. Isn't it more important that you feel like you're not a victim of racism? And even though I'm not really helping solve the whole racism issue, and even though I'm using this whole ideal of racism as a political weapon and a boogeyman to keep you scared and paranoid and suspicious of other Americans, even though I'm using all of this, and I know it's not really real and a problem like we said but it's a part of our business model. Even though I never really solved the issue that I'm telling you is a problem, because if I did that, I couldn't use the issue anymore. I mean, it's been working. Shoot, for the last 60 years plus, we've been getting black folks to vote for us by telling them racism. They don't catch it. I mean, I'm sitting back thinking about all of this racism that's floating around, and I said to myself, okay, well, how do we come to the conclusion that all these things that in the last 4 years, we all decided, man, this is racist? Did we come to this conclusion, or was it downloaded into our heads by someone else? For example, the stuff that they mad for now and running around telling black folks they should be mad for, I don't ever recall, and I'm in the black community, I don't ever recall us having a problem with these things. For example, when did we wake up and become African Americans? I mean, was it us that was marching, saying, man, we sick of being called black? Dang on it, we want to now be calling African Americans. Or was it a group think tank, or a whole bunch of white liberals that just decided, you know what, we think would be better for them and more appropriate? Let's call them African Americans. And black folks never questioned it. They embraced it because guess what? You show folks on TV using it over and over again, and then subliminally you suggest that this is now the acceptable new term. And black folks don't even question it. Then we went from being African Americans, somehow, now we're people of color. Did we get a vote on that? Did anybody throw out a survey and say, okay, black people, what do you want to be called now on? Man, we want to be called people of color. Isn't that suspiciously close to being called colored people? So a group tank of probably white liberals decided, you know what would be, more acceptable and more politically correct? Let's just call them people of color. And we never even questioned it. I mean, nobody realized they inverted the word, and people of color, colored people, the same thing. But you know what? They just throw it out there on TV. You watch some news and you hear people of color. And I'm thinking to myself, well, that kind of cheapens being black. Now, this stuff is ideas that's being downloaded into black folks' head because we didn't vote on that. That wasn't an issue in the black community. So now we're people of color, which also will put us in the category with other minorities, which dilutes the plight, history, and struggle of the black community. Could it be that they've diluted us from being black so that we would feel like supporting some of their social issues that doesn't involve black people? But because now we're all quote people of color, then we should be sympathetic and support things like illegal immigrants coming. Thing got nothing to do with us. But yet when they say, well, you're all people of color, and their plight and struggle is just the same. It's like the civil rights movement or slavery, because they're separating babies. And I'm going, no. Slavery is unique to black folks in regards to America because they didn't want to come here. Our ancestors got brought here, which is different from the other folks. But when you blind black folks and manipulate them by saying, hey, dude, you all can relate to what's going on here. You guys been oppressed. Huh? So why don't you just get on board with our cause that at the end of the day, our cause directly, negatively impacts you all. But we don't want you looking at that because all we're going to do is blind you by saying The people who use practical, logical reasons why we shouldn't allow legal immigrants to just come over anytime they want are racist. And somehow that blinds folks from being able to see and think clearly. Any other situation, you ask a brother, hey man, listen, how you feel about all these illegal immigrants just coming and going through America? You cool with that? They come over here, man. They get shuffled into our neighborhoods. They don't go to the folks' neighborhoods that be advocating for them to come here. And then whose jobs you think they're competing for, huh? I mean, I know a little brother down the street, man. He could be working one of these little jobs, but I mean, they gave his job away. Now, if you didn't bring up President Trump, people, black folks would be like, man, I feel you, dude. That's what I'm talking about. But now all of a sudden, something that they would normally say, yeah, I feel you. All TV has to do, all the liberals have to do, all the commentators, is simply just say, well, even though that idea makes sense to stop illegal immigration, the person who said it is racist. Now, what does that do? That means I don't have to convince you why it's dumb or smart to allow illegal immigrants to come in. All I got to do is just hit you with the racism. I mean, another example. Isn't it funny how they tell us what we should be mad about? You ever thought about that, black folks? Black folks walking past statues all the time of whoever. Probably didn't even stop to read the sign at all right, who is this guy? Robert E. Lee. What did he do? No. Walked past it, never felt like that statue was like, psst, come here. Black dude, come here. You know what I did back in the day? I hated black. I owned some slaves and stuff. Statue never bothered them. They walked past. But now, you get the liberal media and a whole bunch of angry activists, a lot of times white liberals, sitting around a think tank. How else can we make black folks comply and show loyalty towards the Democratic? Let's just start pointing out stuff and saying, by us pointing this stuff out in society, you should be upset about it. And you should go and tear that mess down and attack it, so we don't have to solve real issues in the black community, but we can still look good because we're identifying stuff that you should be mad about. And all black folks do is run and attack the stuff that they point to and say, that's racism. Oh yeah. Now I'm thinking, well, did they explain to us how removing that statue will make our schools better? I mean, did they stop and say, well, you know what? This statue right here stands in the way of your progress, man. This is how. So if you tear it down, then the floodgates will open up for black people to be more successful. Doesn't change your life. They know that. All they want to do is distract you. All they want to do is just say, look, we're virtue signaling by telling you this is wrong, that's wrong. Go get this, get that shoe, go and get the cracker, animal cracker box, go get that. And folks are running around putting out little teeny fires while the whole house is burning down. Nobody ever stops to think like that. People out there talking about you should support Black Lives Matter. Okay, if I'm a businessman or if I'm a huge corporation or the Democratic Party, all I got to do is say, you know what? A great way to make black folks think that we're doing something for them and they're making progress racially is by simply showing, look at this, a big old painting. Black Lives Matter. So now I see that, and instead of looking at real problems, just the fact that somebody painted that there makes me feel better about being black. Well, now that they put that sign out there on the street, I'm most likely going to be able to get out of these horrible schools in the inner city ran by Democrats. Most likely not going to have to worry about gunfire ringing out in the middle of the night in these democratically ran cities. Most likely I'm going to be able to go to college and learn stuff and get a great job because of that Black Lives Matter mural painted on the ground. What did that just do? You know what it did? Psychologically, it allowed elitists, it allowed people to suffer from white guilt, it allows the Democratic Party, it allows Democratic leaders in these cities, it allowed big corporations to all feel good, make their conscience feel better without having to do something. So all they're doing is saying, look, man, look, bro, we're down with you. Look, we put Black Lives Matter on the back of the shirts. I mean, didn't you see the latest commercial? We here at Procter & Gamble believe that Black Lives Matter. How does that change your life? When I see that painted on the ground, do I go, well, shoot, that opened up doors for me because they painted that right on the ground? All of these people are hypocrites, race baiters, and they're destroying the country. And I hope black people wake up and see it. I hope they stop allowing them to manipulate your thoughts and emotions, because that's what they're doing. I mean, you got to respect Trump. He just straight candid. I'm asking for the black vote. When is the last time you heard a Democrat do that? They just assume they got it. Well, you know what? If you allow yourself to be manipulated, and when folk come to wake them up, they get mad at them. Black folks come, dude, they're using you. They're playing you. They're destroying the whole country by making us feel like race then came back in full effect, like this is 1870 or something. They're playing, man, now you a sellout, man. And I'm going, they got you good. They got you real good. They got you to the point where they're like, don't worry about this dude. He's committed to the narrative. He ain't going nowhere. Let's go after the reasonable black folks that stop for 1 second. You ain't got to be Democrat or Republican and say, now, isn't it a little peculiar that I turn on the TV and on every network, the #1 topic is racism? Is there that much racism going around America that warrants an over amount of the use of that term? Come on now. See, now, you've been listening to Kevin and Kevin's Corner. I was going to make this video all fancy, but I got on the road about some things. See, I was going to throw in some clips and stuff, but sometimes you just got to rap to the folks, because I'm feeling some way about it, because I'm seeing how they plan a whole bunch of Americans going into this election with Kamala Harris and creepy, sleepy, sloppy, and bubble wrapping her and setting it up, using all of this to manipulate the black vote like they always have been doing, but only to like the 15th to 20 power. So anyway, you've been listening to Kevin and Kevin's Corner. I'm sure I'll come back with part 2 of this. And I'm sure this video is going to be demonetized. I forgot that I was supposed to be whispering the word racism. I'll just say, forget it. You know, if they demonetize it, they just do. You know, but it is what it is. It's funny how YouTube demonetizes and stops black conservatives from talking about issues like racism if they are going against the narrative. If I was to get on here and tell y'all I'm a victim and I'm mad because all the racism and the white man done kept me down because I'm brown and he got his foot in my back because I'm black, and I think that Black Lives Matter has license to ill, and we could go out and tear out stuff and destroy stuff and not be held accountable because of white systemic racism, all of that stuff. If I was on here saying that, they would be like, you know what, let's run that one. Let's go ahead and, you know, boost that up to the recommendations. But you get on, you talk stuff like this, and they stick it to you, man. And that is why I'm working on my own platform, so I ain't got to worry about it. I can get on there and say, Raider. I can say whatever I want. And when I do it, those that love me going to have to support me now. You know, you got to go through some things. I'm trying to get it going and all that, you know. And but, I mean, if you want to hear me uncensored, you'll come over to the platform. I'll still be on YouTube. But when you want me to get real rugged and raw like I want to, you got to come over there and check it out. I'll be letting y'all know about that even more. So don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, and the notification. Make sure your notifications are set on all. Make sure that you're still subscribed. And also check out Extreme Teas, my sponsor. If you like their products, the link's below this video. Click on something, put Kevin in the promo code. You'll get a 20% discount. If you want to donate to Kevin and Kevin's Corner, feel free. There's a link below the video to do that. And you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. All those links are down there. God bless y'all. See y'all next time at Kevin's Corner. Take care.